If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come to Pittsburgh, the Steelers already have Plan B ready. It's Kirk Cousins. That's the big headline. But it's just one of 3 major updates coming out of Pittsburgh right now. Today's video digs into the team's quarterback options, what insiders are saying about Rodgers and Cousins, and how the front office might pivot if Rodgers walks away. Then it dives into something that's catching fans off guard. Despite trading for DK Metcalf, the Steelers could still target a wide receiver in the first round of the NFL draft. And to close things out, a familiar name is staying in black and gold. Jeremiah Moon is back with the team after signing a 1-year deal. This story looks at what that move means for Pittsburgh's depth chart on defense and special teams. This episode is fast, fact-packed, and built for Steelers fans who want the full picture, not just the headlines. So what happens if Rodgers says no? Do the Steelers really want Cousins? And why are they still going after wide receivers? The first story is, if Aaron Rodgers turns down the Steelers, they're expected to immediately move toward Kirk Cousins. Insiders believe Cousins has become the next best target for Mike Tomlin's staff after Rodgers. Cleveland is also in play. Sources say Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski maintains a strong relationship with Cousins from their Minnesota days. The Browns could become a direct competitor for Cousins and set up a 2-team standoff in the AFC North. Mike Tomlin addressed the quarterback search during the NFL owners' meetings, keeping his comments broad and strategic. "I don't know if we are identifying anything as Plan A, Plan B, or Plan C," Tomlin said. He described the process as methodical, focused on evaluating free agency and draft options across the board. Insiders suggest the front office continues monitoring Cousins while Rodgers evaluates his future. Analyst Albert Breer said the Steelers are doing their diligence in case Rodgers declines the offer. He pointed out Cousins' guaranteed $10 million for 2025 that gives the player some sort of leverage in any trade discussion. Sources say Cousins could delay decisions and wait for the best opportunity to start elsewhere. Atlanta still views Cousins as a prized asset but hasn't guaranteed him a role for 2025. In 2024, Cousins threw for 3,508 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 16 interceptions over 14 games before being benched. He lost his job to rookie Michael Penix Jr. Despite receiving a 4-year, $180 million contract last offseason. Cousins remains under contract and holds a no-trade clause, which gives him some control over where he lands. Reports indicate he would consider waiving that clause if presented with a starting role. If Rodgers chooses Pittsburgh, Cousins will likely stay in Atlanta or enter talks with another team in need. If Rodgers signs elsewhere, Cousins instantly becomes the top available veteran quarterback for Pittsburgh's system. Cabot's report places the Steelers on alert, knowing that Rodgers' delay impacts multiple teams' timelines. Cleveland is keeping tabs on both developments, possibly preparing to jump if Pittsburgh lands neither quarterback. Cousins, now 36, brings experience but showed regression last year, which left teams cautious about his upside. Across 13 NFL seasons, Cousins has thrown for 42,979 yards, 288 touchdowns, and 126 interceptions. The 4-time Pro Bowler has playoff experience and is viewed as a stabilizing force despite recent inconsistency. His future depends on Rodgers' decision, which insiders say could arrive within days or even hours. Multiple executives believe Rodgers holds all the cards in shaping the quarterback dominoes across the AFC. Atlanta's leverage shrinks if Cousins insists on starting elsewhere, and Rodgers delays long enough. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh watches and waits. It's positioned for one of 2 veteran paths that define its 2025 outlook. The fan base has questions and the front office has contingencies. The pressure builds as free agency stalls. So if Rodgers walks away, is Kirk Cousins really the next man in line for Pittsburgh? Despite acquiring DK Metcalf, the Steelers could still draft a wide receiver in the first round. That's according to Tony Pauline, who reported Pittsburgh's interest during Ohio State's recent Pro Day. Reportedly, Emeka Egbuka recently had dinner with Mike Tomlin and general manager Omar Khan. Insiders say the Steelers want more receiving depth amid George Pickens' contract uncertainty and future role. Egbuka ran a 4.48-second 40-yard dash. He showed solid speed and clean movement during drills. He's considered a polished route runner with positional versatility and consistent hands across the middle and outside. Despite the trade for Metcalf, Pittsburgh appears to be building around a young core at wide receiver. The current wideout group includes Metcalf, Pickens, Calvin Austin III, and recently signed depth receiver Scotty Miller. Analysts believe Egbuka could rotate in as a slot threat or eventual Pickens replacement, depending on negotiations. Steelers could also consider Matthew Golden from Texas, who impressed at the SEC championship. Golden has recorded back-to-back seasons with 800-plus receiving yards and double-digit touchdowns for the Longhorns. He proved his return skills and deep threat ability against Georgia. Needless to say, this raised his draft profile significantly. Missouri's Luther Burden and Iowa State's Jaden Higgins are also under consideration, according to multiple reports. Top-tier receivers like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors are expected to go well before Pittsburgh picks. Tedairoa McMillan, once a top prospect, is sliding down draft boards following an underwhelming pre-draft process. Analysts say McMillan's stock drop could make him a second-round value if teams prioritize athletic traits early. Pauline noted that several teams, including the Packers and Chargers, also plan to draft a wide receiver early. Egbuka's dinner with Tomlin and Khan signals serious interest. It allegedly suggests Pittsburgh values him beyond standard scouting. Despite strong defensive needs, the Steelers are leaning toward offensive reinforcements, specifically wide receiver and center. Insiders say the team wants to surround their next quarterback with immediate playmakers, regardless of who starts Week 1. Khan and Tomlin visited multiple campuses this offseason, including LSU and Washington, to target offensive talent. Egbuka missed time last season due to injury, but returned for the college football playoff with 2 touchdown grabs. He can contribute early, and this virtue reportedly makes him a safer option than some raw prospects projected in later rounds. Draft experts believe the wide receiver class drops off significantly after round 1, making early selections more crucial. Multiple scouts told The Athletic that round 2 receivers lack polish, size, or complete route trees. The Steelers, picking in the mid-20s, are seemingly well-positioned to strike if their target falls within range. Egbuka is projected to go between picks 18 and 28, making Pittsburgh's draft slot a potential landing point. The decision will depend on board movement, trade offers, and how Pittsburgh ranks its internal receiver evaluations. So after acquiring Metcalf, are the Steelers still ready to invest early in another receiver? Now coming to the third story, Jeremiah Moon is officially returning to the Pittsburgh Steelers after signing a new 1-year contract. The team announced the deal on Friday, bringing back the linebacker for the 2025 NFL season. Moon played 13 games for Pittsburgh in 2024, logged 1 start, and contributed across defense and special teams. He entered the offseason as an exclusive rights free agent but wasn't tendered a contract before the March deadline. That allowed Moon to become an unrestricted free agent, though both sides kept communication open during the process. Despite testing the market, Moon ultimately re-signed with Pittsburgh before April and secured his roster spot for camp. Originally undrafted in 2022, Moon began his NFL career with the Baltimore Ravens. He spent his rookie year on Baltimore's practice squad after going unselected out of the University of Florida. In 2023, Moon was elevated for 8 games. He recorded 1 start and appeared in the AFC postseason. The Ravens waived him in January 2024 to activate tight end Mark Andrews ahead of the AFC Championship. Pittsburgh claimed Moon shortly after and placed him on injured reserve for the first 4 weeks of the season. He returned from an ankle injury and played 111 defensive snaps during the remainder of the 2024 campaign. On special teams, Moon logged 222 snaps, primarily on punt return and kickoff coverage units. Coaches appreciated his versatility, especially during injury stretches when linebacker depth was limited. Moon also appeared in the Steelers' 28-14 playoff loss to Baltimore and recorded 1 solo tackle in that game. He has shown strong flashes in short stretches, particularly when asked to pressure the quarterback or cover tight ends. At Florida, Moon was an All-SEC contributor and played 6 seasons. He benefited from the NCAA's COVID-19 eligibility extension. The energetic player's collegiate production included 151 total tackles, 14.5 tackles for loss, and 8 sacks across 49 games. the Steelers continue focusing on hybrid linebackers who can handle special teams and third-down packages effectively. Coaches see Moon as a developmental piece who fits the current structure of the Steelers' defensive depth chart. While he won't headline the roster, Moon's return seemingly gives Pittsburgh continuity in an area that sees frequent turnover. Linebackers like Nick Herbig, Cole Holcomb, and Elandon Roberts sit above Moon on the projected 2025 depth chart. Still, Moon's experience in the system and proven special teams value could make him a camp surprise. Insiders say the team appreciates players who are comfortable with non-glamorous roles and remain ready when called upon. Moon's quiet, but at the same time, he is extremely consistent. Given that, his contributions align well with Pittsburgh's approach to roster building beyond the top names. The deal likely carries a veteran minimum cap hit. It offers low risk and potential depth value for 2025. Is Moon's journey, from undrafted to playoff contributor, a reminder of the NFL's unpredictability and opportunity-driven nature? After returning on a quiet one-year deal, could the player carve out a bigger role this season? Rodgers holding everything up has ripple effects far beyond Pittsburgh, but if Cousins gets dealt, it'll mean someone blinked first. And if Pittsburgh drafts a receiver in round 1, Metcalf's arrival won't be the final headline. Meanwhile, re-signing Moon might look minor, until Week 8, when injuries pile up. Will the Steelers' gamble pay off before the clock runs out? Let the season answer that. Stay locked in and subscribe now for real insider updates on the AFC's most unpredictable offseason.